Okay, we're live. We're live. Get on in here. Hopefully some people jump on. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Okay, we'll just give it a few minutes. Give it a second. We'll pause and we'll wait and see if anyone gets notified. I haven't gotten anything on Facebook yet. Let's see. They say I'm on. You're not on. Let's see here. Anybody? Is there anyone going to jump on? No one? Just okay. We'll just tape it. We'll tape it. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Is anybody joining? Anyone? Hello. Okay, we've got a few people. Okay, here we go. It's happening. Oh, hey sister. My sister's on. She's watching. Hey. How's it going, sis? I've got 3 sisters. I've got 3 sisters and 3 brothers. Seriously. I'm one of 7. I love big families. If I had gotten married younger, I would have had more children. Okay. And that wasn't God's plan. That's okay. It's okay. But yes, one of my sisters is watching. Sometimes they tune in. Sometimes they check out what sis wants to say. Okay. First of all, I just have to address this. Because it's close to home here for me here in Colorado. We've been hitting the news a lot, just so you guys know. We've been hitting the news a lot. Just to give you an idea of Colorado, it once was a red state. I know that's a shocker for everybody tuning in. They're like, what? Yeah, when my parents moved here back in the 90s, we had a conservative Republican governor, okay? And it's just completely just bleh. And that's because of a lot of the California peeps have decided to roll into Colorado, and they fled California policies. Like, oh my gosh, California, we're being overtaxed. This is insane. We're going to go to Colorado and vote the same way we were voting in California. And let's turn that state blue. So that's what we've been encountering over the last 30 years here in Colorado. There was a planned, you can look up the Rocky Mountain Heist on YouTube. Michelle Malkin does a wonderful piece about how a lot of the big billionaires, a lot of the big money peeps got together and decided to turn this state into California. Like, it was intentional. So here we are, and we're hitting the news big right now because we've got Venezuelan gangs. Seriously, it's not rumor. It's for real happening. Taking over apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado, which is not far from me. So yay. And this is what you have. This is what happens when you vote for Democrats. I know this is what happens when you turn your state into a sanctuary state, Governor Jared Polis. This is what happens when you have a trifecta. You've got a Democrat House at the Capitol. You've got a Democrat Senate. And you've got a far leftist Democrat who likes to pose as a libertarian, but he's not, governor. Okay, they go crazy up in the Capitol. They've been turning our state and destroying our state, and now we've got Venezuelan gangs. Like, God help people that live nearby this place, these apartment buildings. And for the media has been like, oh, this is just rumored. And like certain mainstream news outlets here in Colorado are like, this is not happening. This is not happening. Well, here we have, I just got to play this just to shut it all down. The mayor of Aurora verifying that, yes, this is happening. Okay, here he is.
Colorado. Mayor, thank you very much for coming on with us. It seems it's tough to even get some confirmation of the details of what is going on there. First off, can you confirm whether or not this gang has taken over these buildings there in Aurora?
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs. I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these 3 buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. We have now or have had, it is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out, and arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
This is insane. Like, guys, what Venezuelan gangs rolling up into Aurora, Colorado, kicking out the property management, collecting rent from people living. And this is the thing. If you don't think this can happen to you, you're naive. Okay, people in Littleton, people in Jefferson County, people in El Paso County, people in Douglas County, if you don't, Garfield County, if you don't, you guys are naive. You're naive. To my Democrat voting family and friends, this can happen to your city. Stop voting for Democrats. Stop. I get it. You hate Trump. He's horrible. But listen, do you want Venezuelan gangs in your neighborhood? Do you think the people of Aurora wanted this? No, they don't. But they're voting for Democrats. This is insane. This is crazy. And it's happening right up the road. You have to have a very low IQ. Let's just be honest. And God love you, but you have to have a very low IQ to be like, I want 4 more years of this. I want more of this. So I'm going to keep voting for this. For example, and we're going to get to Kamala's interview, which was just, listen. The definition of insanity is voting for is continuing to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Okay. If you don't like what's happening to our country, don't keep voting for the people that are currently in charge. If you don't like Venezuelan gangs rolling into your neighborhood, don't keep voting for people that have allowed Venezuelan gangs into our country. If you don't like people dying from fentanyl overdose and from fentanyl poisoning, don't keep voting for the people that let 11 million people into our country illegally. It's common sense. I do believe at this point, like, I'm starting to think maybe this election, this 2024 election, is just a giant IQ test. Like, it's just testing the intelligence of the American people. And I'm concerned. Like, I'm genuinely concerned. Here we have Ben Stiller being asked about Kamala and why he's voting. I want you to listen to this. Listen to it.
Do you mind answering just a quick question why you came and what you like about Harris' platform?
Just very excited about moving forward and all the energy and excitement that's around this movement right now. So that's why I'm here, because it's time for change, and it seems like it's happening.
You think she'll be able to sustain the momentum post-convention?
For sure.
You think the race is going to be close?
It's going to be close, but everybody's motivated to work and make it happen. So, and she and Tim Walz are just incredible candidates.
Okay, so Ben Stiller, who I genuinely like, I really enjoy his movies. I think he's funny. He makes me laugh. I think he's got a good sense of humor. And I loved a lot of the stuff that he's done. But when I saw this, I thought, low IQ. And I'm not trying to be unchristian or mean, but you can't be saying, and he said, it's time for change. Okay. He's excited about the movement of Kamala. And I would ask, what is the movement? Like, what is the Kamala movement? What is it about Kamala that gets you so excited that you're like, yes, I want this? What has she done? What has she done as vice president that, like, yes, she needs to be promoted to president? Like, she needs this. She has earned this. What has she done? What has she done? Like, honestly, like I would ask him that. And I would be interested to hear what his answer would be. What has Kamala done to earn the promotion? Okay. Then he says, I'm excited about the change. Change. These people have been in charge for the last, what we got 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Trump, and another 4 years of Biden. Okay. So what is that? That's 16 years. These people that he's excited about bringing change have been in control the last 12 of 16 years. Okay. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, there's no common sense in saying you're voting for change when you want more of the same. You want the Venezuelan gangs in your neighborhood. So I'm going to vote for Kamala. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And it just, that when I saw that, I just was like, yeah, I know Hollywood's not intelligent. I lived in a celebrity's home. Well-known celebrity. You would know this person, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, famous, lived in their home, and they're not intelligent people. So please don't listen to Hollywood. Please don't be like, yes, whatever you say, Taylor Swift, whatever you say, Ben Stiller, whatever you say, Oprah, whatever you say, Pink, whatever you say, Beyonce, like they don't understand, they don't relate to you. They can't do basic things, you guys. I lived in their home and you're like, wow, like you don't even know how to boil water. Like, honestly. And then you're coming on the stage, or you're coming on and you're being interviewed and you're telling us how to vote. You can't relate to us. You have no idea what it's like right now for the everyday average American. Like, a savings has depleted. People out there, they're struggling. And I have no idea how you're like, yes, let's do another 4 years of it. Let's keep this thing going. Why would you do that? Just common sense. Why would you do that? Well, I hate Trump. We don't vote on the person. It's not about Trump. It's not about him. I know people are like so hung up on that. Like, I'm not about him. I'm about his policies. That's why I'm voting for him. That's it. I don't have to hang out with him. I don't have to have a beer with him. I don't have to go down and be invited tomorrow. I don't need any of that. It's got too much going on. I'm a mother of 3 that has all my children in after school activities. I'm a busy person. I don't have time to go party with people. I don't time. Policies. My family is first. I want the policies that will help my family. I want the policies that are going to protect my kids. I want the policies that prevent the Venezuelan gangs from coming into my neighborhood. That's why I'm voting for Trump. And that's it. I want the policies that prevent little kids from being mutilated. That's it. I vote on policy. That's it. That's the whole reason I'm voting for Trump. That's it. Shout out to John. Thank you on YouTube for that super chat. Awesome. That's why I vote. That's why I'm voting on policy. That's it. And what are Kamala's policies? Do people know? This is just a side fact. First of all, her father's name is Donald J. Harris. That's weird. Like, I'm like the coincidence, Donald J. Trump, Donald J. Harris. Like, and she's not close with her dad. She was raised by her mother. But did you know that her father is a Marxist? He's a Marxist. He aligns with Karl Marx on a lot of the economic policies. And when you look at Kamala Harris, she's speaking about price caps, which is Marxism. That's communism. She's all about she says she wants to help the middle class, right? Well, what I've learned after being in politics for, gosh, I started in 2012. So after 12 years of immersing myself in this stuff, what I found is what the Democrats say they care about and what they want to help with is actually what they are willing to destroy. And she's always saying she wants to help the middle class, help the middle class. So me watching her, I'm like, she's going to annihilate the middle class. She's going to literally take us out. And why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Everyone, like, we were, Rachel, that's crazy. Why would you annihilate the middle class? Why would you try to get rid of the middle class? Why would you do that? Because when you have, then you have the opportunity to enlarge government. When you get to the point where you're in the middle class, and I'm middle class, where you're like, okay, savings is being depleted. We're going to have to cut back on this, cut back on this, cut back on this. And you watch yourself just decline economically, financially, you're looking for help, right? That's what they want. They want you to start to look for help. And that's when the government's like, we will help you. We'll help you. We'll do that for you. We'll give you that. And once you take that help, you're now dependent. You're now controlled. They need you. They want to control you. Why? Because that's what power wants. That's what communism is. That's what Marxism is. They don't believe that you, as you're just your little self, can figure it out for yourself. They don't think you're smart enough to figure it out for yourself. They don't think you're intelligent enough to figure it out for yourself. They think that they're smarter than you, and they need to tell you what's best for you. Anyways, I went on a rant there, but Aurora, Colorado, that's really happening to shut down all the rumors. Oh, that's not happening. You're lying. No, the mayor just came out. It's happening. And it can happen in your neighborhood if you continue voting for this. This is an IQ test, honestly. And listen. Okay. You hate Trump. I get it. You hate Trump. And when you're hanging out with all your friends, they all hate Trump too. It's just so horrible. He's so gross. Nobody's got to know. Nobody's got to know. When you get that ballot, when you close that curtain, nobody's got to know whose name you fill in. Nobody has to know. You could just, nobody's got to know. And then you can leave. And then you can leave and be like, yeah, I totally still hate him. Nobody's got to know. Do it for your kids. My goodness, do it for your kids, for the safety of your children. Vote for the policies that protect your family. Anyways. Oh, and I get asked this a lot. How can women support Trump? Like, how can you all the time? This is supposed to, and I think they do this for engagement on X, these leftist accounts. How can any woman vote for Trump? Like, okay, because we're supposed to be so proud that there's a woman on the stage. I ask you to look into how Kamala got to where she is today. Okay. She, first of all, failed her bar exam. She had to take it again. Okay. Then she got out. And in her 20s, after she got out of law school, she started talking to a guy named Willie Brown. Willie Brown was a very successful political businessman guy, very savvy in California, San Francisco. And she started hanging out with him a lot. This guy's married. Okay. A lot. It's alleged and said that they hung out a lot, if you know what I mean. So, and even when Willie Brown was asked, like, what, and he even admitted that he dated her and he was married. Okay, so he did this. So I'm not going to get in trouble because I'm just telling you what he said. Let's just repeat what he said. He said, okay, so as a state assembly speaker, Brown appointed Kamala to 2 political posts, the California Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and later the Medical Assistance Commission. And that kind of launched her. Okay, that launched her. And then Willie Brown says, yes, we dated. It was more than 20 years ago, but yes, I may have influenced her career by appointing her to 2 state commissions when I was Assembly Speaker. And I certainly helped her with her first race for district attorney in San Francisco. So I don't know. I don't think I want to tell my daughters, and I have 2 daughters, you need to go hang out with this married man to advance your career. You need to do what you need to do. How does that promote strong strength as a woman? How does that, I mean, I don't know how any, like, you feminists out there, like, I don't know how you, like, that's not your self-made woman. Okay. She used a guy to get to where she is. She compromised it and did things I don't want to even know. I don't want to tell my daughters they have to do that. That does not make me proud at all as a woman. At all. It's embarrassing. And you know what also is embarrassing? Having to bring a guy, a man, with you on an interview. She becomes the nominee just last week. And what was I? Was it last week? A couple weeks ago? I don't know when the Democrat National Convention was, but it was just recently. Okay, she refuses to give interviews. Refuses. Why does she refuse to give interviews? Because she can't let you know how far left she is, and she struggles. She struggles. She struggles when it's time to talk. When she's put on the spot, it's like and I get it. Sometimes I myself will get nervous and I'm like, I don't know, but I'm not trying to become president of the United States. Like I'm not. That's not my dream. I don't want that. I would think it would be a burden. It would not be something that I even aspire. I don't even know. But if you are trying to become the president of the United States, like if you're trying to become the most powerful person on this planet, you should be able to speak eloquently and to be able to convey your thoughts in clarity without having anyone next to you making sure you do it right. Okay. That's why she had Tim Walz with her. So let's just watch this. I had to do a parody on it because sometimes I feel like, okay, the last week I've been like, I don't think people get it. Like, is my satire, is it too satiric that I'm not just laying it out like hard, thick, like this is what we're dealing with? So this one just lays it out. This one just tells you what's happening and why it's happening for those that are a little bit slower. So here's this. Why did Tim Walz come with her? Well, here we go. And if left alone with an inner, as one of Kamala's handlers, I keep getting asked why. Why is Kamala bringing Tim Walz with her on her first interview since becoming the Democrat nominee? So I need to explain. Kamala is a helpless, defenseless woman. And if left alone with an interviewer, she starts to talk in a circular pattern, resulting in a jargon of incoherent word salad. So she needs a man. She needs a man to accompany her in this interview. But don't worry, this man accompanying her is a low testosterone laden man. So we should be fine. With this said, I hope you enjoy the interview of Kamala reciting answers to questions that she most definitely did not receive prior. So there you go. I mean, you guys, and I said testosterone, low testosterone laden, because that's not my words. That's Dana Bash from CNN. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Dana Bash from CNN, she's like, they have Walz on board to kind of attract those those non-testosterone laden men. So basically what Dana Bash said is, if you're a man and you're voting for Harris, you have low testosterone. Basically saying you're not really manly or masculine, and you're kind of a beta male, and you're weak, and you let the women run the show. That's pretty much what she said, who is voting for Harris. Okay. So if you're a dude out there, if you're a dude voting for Harris, know that they think you're low testosterone. They do. Because Dana is not a conservative. She's not Republican. She loves the Dems, okay? She's CNN, okay? So that's who they think you are. Like that, I mean, if I was a guy, I'd be like, all right, that's kind of offensive. Like, I'm a dude, man. Not really. They think that you're not. So hey, that's them. No, I'm just the messenger here. Okay, so let's get to the interview. I think the basic thing to say, and I watched this, and let's remember this was 18 minutes long. Okay, I watched some lefty on X was like, I'm really impressed with Harris. Like she went out there and she was able to for almost 50 minutes just talk, about her policies and what she said. I'm like, wait, 50 minutes? What? It was 18 minutes. Yeah, they were able to spread it out with a lot of commercials and commercial breaks and commentary and like these long intros. But if you add up the time that she spoke, it was 18 minutes. Okay, so we wait for this interview, this interview, and she's got to bring a guy with her, and she can only talk for 18 minutes. Does that sound presidential to you? Does that sound like someone that's like, yeah, give me that, like, let's go. I can handle it. I can bring anything. Let's go. No, it wasn't. She didn't even look presidential. She's sitting behind a table. She didn't come across as presidential. And I know they told her, they're like, you cannot laugh. Like, number one, do not laugh. So she did not laugh because she does laugh when she starts to get uncomfortable. But she did not laugh on this one, which I found like interesting because they're like, don't you dare laugh, Kamala. You cannot laugh if you start laughing. So she didn't laugh, but she said something that I think stands out the most. She said, my values have not changed. And I think every American watching needs to take a moment and really think about that. Her values have not changed. Okay. So that means that in 2017, she tweeted out that she does not believe that those crossing the border are criminals. She said that. It means that she's all for the Green New Deal, which is trillions of dollars, trillions. We're talking like would cripple America. Okay. It means that she is about gun confiscation. She is about shutting down free speech. This is a scary thing. If I don't think I saved it, dang it. Let me see. I might have to hold on a second, guys. I'm going to have to go really quick and see if I can find this. I don't think I have it. It's all far left, far extreme leftist things that she believes in. We're talking, and I don't have the video here, and I wish I did because it's really important. I might have to. And you know what? I probably will get dinged on YouTube. They'll try to demonetize me because I shared this, but let me see if I can find it. She sits down in an interview, and this lady interviewing her, and she's a leftist interviewer, but she's like, your policies are very far left. Here we go. Let me bring this on. And they're probably going to dig me. So I appreciate the super chat in the policy because they're going to probably demonetize me for sharing this, but I think it's important to. Okay, so, and you see how she responds to that, right? This lady is like, you are the most liberal senator. Like, and this is a bipartisan committee that has said, like, she's like, oh no, that's what Mike Pence says. No, this is a bipartisan committee that has laid you out as the most liberal senator in the Senate. Okay. She starts laughing. And then she's like, are you going to be a socialist? Are you progressive socialist? And what does she do? She starts to laugh, right? That's the telltale. I am a socialist. I am a socialist. That's what she does. That's the truth. And she said in the interview last night, my values have not changed. So, are you going to elect a socialist? Are you going to vote for somebody that wants to tear down capitalism, that wants to eradicate the American dream here in America? Because you cannot have the ability to succeed and be all that you want to be when you have the government chains on your legs. Like, you can't. When you have those chains, you cannot achieve all that you want to achieve. The government will drag you. And that's what she wants. She wants government intervention into every aspect of your life. And I think it's so deceptive when they say, oh, you know, it's freedom. We're all about freedom. Did you see the Democratic National Convention where it was all like talking about freedom, freedom, freedom? They do not believe in freedom. Again, this is gaslighting the American people. The only thing that they believe in is the ability to annihilate life in the womb. That's it. That is it. There is nothing else do they support in freedom. And I actually wrote down some of this stuff. They're against school choice, freedom of speech. Do I have that? I don't think I got it, but I just saw something like on Twitter where she talks about how she says that, oh gosh. Okay, let me just pull it up because it's so important. I think you guys need to see it. She says that with Anderson Cooper in 2019, and I retweeted this if you go to my account. She says to Anderson Cooper, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that Trump is irresponsible, basically implying she says he is irresponsible, but she's talking about Trump with his words in a way that could result in harm. So the privilege of using these words in that way should probably be taken from him. And then she says that his account needs to be deleted. She says this. So they're against free speech, right? And I don't think people understand, like, you take away free speech, we're done. And she believes that the government, should have the right to take away a citizen's right to speak freely. Who are these people? What qualifies Kamala Harris to tell you what you can and cannot say? What qualifies any government entity or person or individual to say you can't say that? Because I said you can't say that. Well, who are you? I'm sorry, who are you? That's harmful speech. You have to be an idiot to give that kind of power to anyone. And why? Why would any American want someone else to tell them what they can and cannot say? That just blows my mind that you would even vote for that. She thinks because she doesn't like what Donald Trump is saying, that he should be shut down, that he should not be allowed to talk. That's crazy, you guys. That is not freedom. There's no freedom in censorship. So they're anti-freedom, right? We're about freedom. They got the Beyonce song, freedom playing. Yeah, freedom. Only to kill your baby in the womb. That's the only freedom that they support. They don't want the freedom of speech, the freedom of school choice, the freedom of the press. They want to censor what the press can say, the freedom to bear arms, the freedom to not be injected by big pharma chemicals, the freedom they're against the freedom to private property, the freedom to worship. They try to shut us down with COVID, the freedom to parental rights and telling your child that they can't mutilate their body, the freedom for women to compete against women in women's sports. And it goes on and on and on. They're not about freedom. Like, that's just a big lie. And if you believe that, you're believing the lie. You're one of the people that are fooled here. They're against all of that. Yeah. So I got one other thing with Tim Walz, and then I got to talk more about the censorship that Zuckerberg admitted to. Guy admits to censoring us. Where is it? Okay, here we go. This is Tim Walz addressing his stolen valor. Okay, watch this.
In war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And
okay, so he lies about going to combat. Like, totally lies. Like, it's no big deal. I just lied about it. Stolen valor. Oh well. Moving on. I misspoke. I wasn't able to really say what I wanted to say. He went over and taught English in China, you guys. Like, what? Misspoke. Where did I have that? It was so funny. I had it written down, like, what is it? The vice president for 3.5 years. You haven't done them already. Okay. Gosh, I'm all mixed up on my notes. Yeah, he taught China English in China. And he visited China like 30 years, communist China. Again, another guy that loves communism, running with Kamala, who loves Marxism. So they're quite the team. But he said he misspoke. But he did that for 20 years. Okay, I get it one time, like, oh yeah, when we went to war, but I wasn't there, but when we went to war, like that kind of thing. But he did it over and over and over again, and he used it to advance himself politically. Like, how messed up is that? And it's just like, okay, lying about your military service to those that have bled and died, to those that have lost loved ones in war, and you're acting like you have that same status is disgusting. That exposes who he is, who his character, like lack of character. Oh, you guys. Okay. So now we got to move on. I don't have much to say about the interview. I feel like it was a big, like this lead up, this huge lead up to this, this big interview. It's 18 minutes long. She's thrown softball questions. She basically says that her values have not changed. She's going to she's staying with it. She's all about socialism, Marxism, as we saw in the interview earlier when she was a senator. If that's what you want, if you want the Venezuelan gangs, if you want the inflation, if you want her giving $25,000 to new homeowners, which is insane to me, because if you just think common sense again, if you have any kind of IQ, you give $25,000 to a new homeowner and you're going to sell your home, and you now know that these people have another 25 grand. Do you not think you're going to jack your house price up another 25K? Like, if I knew that, it might not be ethically right, but people will do that. Like, tell me you get that. Like, what? You know that these people have an extra $25,000 to spend. You don't think you're going to be like, all right, let's just jack up the price a little bit. I mean, come on. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I should have labeled all this. Okay. Okay, we got to talk about this because this actually directly impacts me. And like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. A lot of you probably have never seen me. A lot of you do know who I am. But when I first started Conservative Mama years ago, it was just a blog. Like, I just started writing. My dad ran for Congress, and my previous experience, I was ignorant to the world of politics. I was ignorant to all of it. I didn't understand it. I was into the whole theater side of things. I was into directing and producing and acting, and I was part of the Screen Actors Guild. And I didn't, it wasn't my thing. I was artsy. I'm artsy, whatever. So when my dad ran for Congress, I was like, for sure you're going to get in. Of course you'll get in. You're a smart businessman. You'll be fine. And he lost. And that to me woke me up, right? And that was my moment where I woke up and I got involved, and I realized that a lot of these people making these decisions are morons, and they are career politicians, right? And they get into office, they get filthy rich, they do nothing for their constituents, and it's very hard and difficult to unseat an incumbent. And I became very passionate about term limits and I started to get involved in campaigns, and eventually I started the blog, and then I got on the Trump campaign as a co-chair for Colorado back in 2016, and I still had not made videos. Really, I was still behind the scenes. And then finally, after some things happened, I started to make these videos. I started to like, okay, I gotta stick my head out here. Like this is ridiculous. And I felt like I could convey it in a video format. I felt like I could convey it through comedy, satire, humor, even dramatic pieces. I was like, I feel like I can speak to those people that I once was, that was ill-informed, didn't know what was going on. Like I could reach them. And so I started making these videos, and they went viral. I would get millions of views on videos, and that went on for a short amount of time. And then I did start getting death threats, and I suddenly started getting censored, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then when we went into 2020, I started to see a lot of the COVID pandemic stuff that was happening. I started to see it. And at first, like any American, like you don't, and if you did know initially that it was absolutely a false flag, then congrats to you. But I didn't until I would say right around April of 2021, because in 20, when the pandemic, okay, we had the election. No, so it was back before things were with everything was still shut down. So it was March of 2020 where I started to see it, and you could see videos where I started to question what's going on, and I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Initially, I was concerned because I'm a mom. You're like, oh my gosh, could this hurt my children? Oh my goodness, I'm always about like, let's protect the kids, like protect the kids, protect the children, protect the children. So when I realized, wait a minute. And I started to connect the dots, I was speaking out pretty quickly on it. And then I started doing satire on it, and I started mocking it. And I went after Fauci, and I went after masks, and I went after the shot, all of that. And I literally saw my account just poof. Like it was demonetized. Videos became almost non-existent. I put something out, instead of getting, I went from 1 million views to now hundreds of thousands of views to thousands of views to then hundreds of views. And I was like, wow, like this is crazy that this is happening. And it was discouraging because I felt like I had a way to reach people, but it was being suppressed, like completely suppressed. And it was frustrating because I wanted to get the truth out. I was like, they're fooling a lot of people, and they're using this to manipulate people as we head into this election. And I was furious about it. And I started to connect all the dots, and hopefully all of you guys have, about where the virus came from, why it was put out, who was behind it, all of it. And it all started to click. And then the censorship hit. Well, just this last week, Mark Zuckerberg wrote a letter to Congressman Jim Jordan, basically admitting that the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris campaign, the people in the Democrat Party, people reached out to Facebook and told them to censor accounts. Now, I don't have proof that I was specifically targeted, other than my numbers, other than my view count, other than the demonetization. But then what was crazy to me is in this letter, Mark Zuckerberg specifically mentions satire. And now I know, okay, there's only so many conservative satirists out there that were speaking out during COVID. So that really, really narrows the field. And I am positive myself that I was censored. But he sends this letter, and he says that they censored the laptop, Hunter's laptop, to suppress information. So people didn't know that that it was Russian disinformation. So they lied about that. They told us that it was Russian disinformation. If people would have known that the Hunter laptop was real, I believe that they've done polling that it would have swayed the election. So And I've seen a lot of the stuff on that laptop, and it's sick. Like sick, perverted, evil stuff. And if more Americans would have saw that, I know if my family and friends that I know that voted for Biden, if they would have seen, or if they would still see what was on Hunter Biden's laptop, they would not have voted for Joe Biden. They wouldn't have. But they didn't know about it. They thought it was Russian disinformation. They were told that it was Russian disinformation. They thought I was crazy. So he said that they had to censor that. They censored COVID-19 information. And in 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Sorry, my nose is still running. It's like allergies. Here I am blowing my nose right on live stream. Okay. So that hit. When I read satire, I was like, wow. So what does this mean? I don't know. I don't know what it means. I don't know if I do know that currently right now, Jim Jordan's team, the oversight, they are going through a lot of the coordination and communication that happened between the Biden administration and big tech. And maybe he's just coming out trying to like get ahead of it, just admitting to it because it's so condemning what they did to censor America. And then let's remember this. This is a violation of the Constitution, right? The Constitution says that you cannot, or according to our First Amendment, the government cannot censor American speech. And they did. Now, a big tech company, YouTube, for example, they'll probably flag me on this, and Facebook probably, I don't know, they'll probably still flag me on some stuff that I said here. And they won't allow me to monetize most likely on some of the stuff that I've said. They can do that. They're private, whatever. They're private, whatever. But when you have someone from the government going to the big tech and saying, hey, don't let them say this. Shut her down. I don't like it. Shut it down. That's censoring speech. That's a violation of the First Amendment. And that's all about what the Biden-Harris administration is about. And that's what Kamala Harris is about, because her policies haven't changed. And in 2019, she said to shut Trump down. Don't let him talk. Censor his account. So, I mean, guys, it's so obvious. It's so obvious what's happening. It's so clear. So that hit. I don't know. I don't know what comes from that. I'm just hoping and I'm praying that what else has been hidden will come to light, right? And that justice is served and accountability is served, because this affected me. I've got 70 people on here watching right now. I used to go live and have close to 1,000. That, I mean, it's clearly obvious that they're not letting specific accounts talk. It's just, and that's a violation of my First Amendment right. So, anyways, in good news, let me wrap this. Oh my gosh, I'm talking too much here. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to Redemption Shield. They protect against electromagnetic fields, radiation, all of that stuff that we're getting from cell phone towers, from cell phones. And I did bring my this down. Super fun. You can wear it. And you can put your cell phone in it. Look at this. And it protects. It's got silver and copper interlaced in it that really protects you from any kind of radiation. And I think about how important it is, like if you're pregnant and you wear your phone close, I would recommend something like this just to be safe, right? Like, why not? Like, have something like this that protects against this stuff, protects against all the radiation that's going on. You don't know what's going on with your phone, what it's letting off. But it's redemptionshield.com. They have all sorts of products. I use their grounding sheets at night. They are laced with copper and silver, and it's kind of like a detox for your body after all the lint that you've experienced throughout the day. So I love them. So I would check them out, redemptionshield.com, and you can get 10% off if you use the code MOM. Mom. Okay. Now, some good news. Right after my live last Friday, RFK came forward and supported Trump. And I was wrong on RFK. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I was mad that he was running because I was thinking this is such a close election. This is such a tight race. And here we have this third party candidate that's running. And it's like, oh my gosh, like you could literally swing this election. Why are you doing this? And so I was frustrated with him. So I didn't really give him that much time. I didn't give that much attention. And I wish I would have. And I do disagree with some of his stuff. I do disagree with some of his stances. But when I saw him speak and endorse Trump, I watched the speech, and I highly encourage every American out there to watch his speech. It's up on YouTube. And he basically lays out why he is throwing his support behind Trump. And let's remember, the Democrats strategically and actively and aggressively did everything they could to keep him off the ballot, right? These are the people that speak about democracy, and we love democracy, and we're all about democracy, but they're not. They're not. They're not about freedom. They're not about democracy, because democracy allows you to vote for whoever you want to vote for. You want to vote for Mickey Mouse? Throw Mickey Mouse on the ballot. Let's give people an opportunity to vote for Mickey. If you want Mickey, you can have Mickey. Like it does. That's democracy. That is democracy. You can vote for whoever you want to vote for. Gosh, my hair is just whack. You can vote for again. They tried to get Trump off the ballot in Colorado. That's not democracy. If you're trying to remove people from the ballot, you're not about democracy. You're about your candidate, and you're about getting your candidate into office, and you could care less what the will of the people is. The will of the people is vote for whoever you want to vote for. Well, they're not smart enough, so we need to control who they vote for because we're smarter than them. That's what we're dealing with here. These elitists, they're elitists. The Harris and Walz elitists. They don't think you're smart enough. They have to censor what you say. They have to censor how you think. They have to censor what you do. They have to censor what you drink. They have to censor what you eat. They have to censor. All of it. They're anti-freedom. They believe that their way is better, and they know more than you. They're smarter than you. Okay, you're just stupid. They're smarter than you. But RFK comes out and he endorses Trump, and I want to show a quick clip of this. And what I realized, and I've been kind of diving into this more, and it did happen. It did happen after COVID when I started to really look into vaccines. And I'm going to be honest. I wish I was more knowledgeable. I wish I would have done more research. And I wish I would have known more about the big pharma world, more about the healthcare industry. And I didn't before COVID, and thank God I did not get the vaccine. I didn't. And because I was praying about it, and there was no peace there. And I was like, I felt like there was pressure. And I was like, this is weird. Like, you should never feel pressured to do anything. If you're feeling pressured, it's not from God. Like, remember that is not of God. The minute you start to feel like pressure, I gotta, or fear to do something, that's not of God. That's not of God. And that was heavy during COVID. So I started to look more into this. I'm like, wait a minute, like what is all this about? And then I started to dive into big pharma, what they're about. You start to look at the healthcare industry. And are we really treating the sickness? Are we really treating the disease? Or are we just throwing medicine at it, just throwing pills at it to mask it, right? And then you start to see the two, how they're pairing up together. You have the healthcare world, the doctors and all this stuff that are teaming up with big pharma, right? And they're not going to the root of issues. Why do we have so many obese people in this world? Why do we have so many diabetic people in this world? Why do we have so much cancer? Why are all we have so much medicine and so much new technology, but we have more sick people than we've ever had? And that doesn't make any sense. So what's going on? Then you start to look at the food we eat. You start to look at who's behind the food, who owns the food, what's put in the food. And you start to think to yourself, wait a minute, something's going on here. And you start to connect the dots. And do doctors really want healthy patients? Because that's how they make their money, right? Like, do they really want you healthy? Right? Like, now, my son said the only honest profession is the only profession that wants you well and healthy and successful is a burglar. And he's like 12. He said that to me, and I was like, that's interesting. He's like, because then they can rob you because you're wealthy and you've got all this stuff, and they want you to be successful. I was like, that's interesting, because and true. The healthcare industry, why would they want you healthy? They're making money off of you being sick, right? Why would the food world, they're putting so much crap in our food, and we're eating all this junk, and it's a lot of addictive chemicals and seed oils and all this garbage that's making us sick. And then we go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, I'll treat you with this pill that Big Pharma gave. And I guarantee you, Big Pharma is going to sink so much money into Kamala's campaign. I bet you they're pouring millions and millions and millions of dollars hoping this woman wins. Because if you get somebody like RFK in there who wants to team up with Trump and really expose it and make Americans healthy again, what does that do to Big Pharma? It's going to shut Big Pharma down. So I guarantee you there's chaos going on right now behind the scenes on this. But here's a quick clip of why RFK is running, and it just spoke to me.
Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country and our children is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other. That's why I launched my campaign to unify America. My dad and uncle made such an enduring mark on the character of our nation, not so much because of any particular policies that they promoted, but because they were able to inspire profound love for our country and to fortify our sense of ourselves as a national community held together by ideals. They were able to put their love into the intentions and hearts of ordinary Americans and to unify a national populist movement of Americans, Blacks and whites, Hispanics, urban and rural Americans. They inspired affection and love and high hopes and a culture of kindness that continue to radiate among Americans from their memory. That's the spirit on which I ran my campaign and that I intend to bring into the campaign of President Trump. Instead of vitriol and polarization, I will appeal to the values that unite us, the goals that we could achieve if only we weren't at each other's throats. The most unifying theme for all Americans is that we all love our children. If we all unite around that issue now, we can finally give them the protection, the health, and the future that they deserve.
And I love that. That's it, guys. It's putting our kids first. It's making sure that our kids have the future and a bright future that we hope that they have. Like, you can do something about that by voting for people that want to keep the Venezuelan gang members out of your neighborhood. Like, you can do it. You can do it. Somebody that wants to keep our kids healthy and get them off of all of this addictive chemicals that are being put in our food and this medicine that we're putting them on. It's not treating the real symptoms. It's just masking it. Like, we can do something about that. We can prevent children from being mutilated. Do you know how the money making that is behind mutilating children? Look into that. Look at they're chopping kids up and making money off of them by confusing our kids. We can do something about that. We can help the future of our children by how we vote in November. So another one that came out endorsing hard for Trump was Tulsi Gabbard. Here she is.
Because I am confident that his first task will be to do the work to walk us back from the brink of war.
Okay, and I know that's short because we're rushed on time, But that's, and then she goes on and kind of talks about that. Again, preventing war. Did we have new wars forming and starting under Trump in his previous administration? No, we didn't. What happened when he left? Afghanistan happened. We lost 13 Americans. Israel, an attack on Israel. Russia invades Ukraine. All of this stuff happening. North Korea starts firing more nuclear missiles out into the ocean. That's not a safer future for your children. And the Biden-Harris administration is all about drafting women as well into war. Do you want your daughters going to war? I don't want my daughters going to war. I don't want my son going to war. I don't want war. I don't want to fund war. I don't want to be involved in war. I want us out of all that junk. I want to shut the whole military industrial complex down. That's what we want. That's what you should want if you want to protect your children. It's not about Trump. It's about the policies. It's about the policies, the policies, the policies. That's it. What else? What else do we have? I think that is okay. Now I do need to address something because people are like, Rachel, did you see what Trump said about abortion? And it's going all over the internet, and I'm going to talk about it. I think it's important to talk about it. I'm not afraid to address something that Trump did that I don't like, okay? Because he did do stuff that I don't like. He did, okay? But when I weigh him against Kamala, there's no question. There's no question. It's Marxism, communism, or real freedom to do what you want to do, to live peacefully, no war, and protect our kids. Like, those are your choices, really. Do you want the government up in your business or do you not? Because they want the government up here. And that's what Tim Walz is always saying, like, mind your own dang business. Only in the bedroom, okay? That's, mind your own business. Get out of my life. No, he doesn't mean that. He only means it when you can kill your child. That's it. In the womb. That's the only mind your own business. He set up a snitch line, okay, during COVID in Minnesota for people to call in and report their neighbor. My neighbor left. I see two of my neighbors talking right now. They're standing, it looks like they're standing 3 feet apart. And I know it's supposed to be 6 feet. He set up a snitch line, okay? He is all about invading your life. Big government, up in your business. Do not believe these people. But let's talk about Trump really quick. So Trump, I'm going to show this quick clip and then we're going to address it. And I don't want to address it, but I'm going to do it. There we go.
Well, everyone does.
You overturn Roe, and you want abortion to be a states' rights issue. In Florida, the state that you are a resident of, there's an abortion-related amendment on the ballot to overturn the 6-week ban in Florida. How are you going to vote on that?
Well, I think the 6-week is too short. It has to be more time, and so and I've told them that I want more weeks.
So you'll vote in favor of the amendment?
I'm voting that I am going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. Look.
Okay. So if you are a hardcore pro-lifer like I am, you're like, oh, why? Why would you say that? Like, I believe that life begins at conception. I do. And science does too. But just hold on a second, okay? There's a lot of people that aren't there yet, right? They're not there yet. And Trump is one of them, okay? Thank God that we got him, that he appointed justices that saw the unconstitutionality of Roe v. Wade and kicked it back to the states, right? So now each state can decide whether they want to kill babies in the womb or not, right? Because that's what that is. That's our, that's the 10th Amendment, right? That's in the states' rights, okay? That's what we're about as a nation. Now, you might not like some of the states' rights. I don't, okay? I'm here in Colorado. Where's this video? Oh my gosh. I'm here in Colorado, and we have third-term abortion. We have abortion up until the point of birth. And I actually give to an organization that literally is right next to a facility that does third-term abortion. And it's I'm going to give them a shout out, Boulder Pregnancy Center. shout out to these women there that are reaching out to women that are showing up to abort their baby at full term. And they are able to persuade these women not to do it. Boulder Pregnancy Center, they provide all sorts of needs to women. They provide clothing. It's amazing what they do. But in Colorado, you can kill your baby all the way up until 40 weeks. It's sick. It's wrong. It's horrible. In fact, this woman tweeted out yesterday, 2 days ago, and it's like let's see how many views it's got. It's insane. It's like 5.7 million views. She says, I'm 28 weeks pregnant. Out of curiosity and for the sake of it, not just assuming this is possible in America, I called 2 different random clinics in Colorado about late-term abortions. Both said that I could come in and get the procedure done. There wasn't a limit on the gestational age. Both said I didn't need any medical or health reason, simply a personal decision. $10K for $10,000 and I could kill my baby. And who at this stage is more than viable? Who is at this stage more than viable outside the womb? Simply because I wanted to. This is evil. I mean, right? Like, it's evil. Now, that is where Kamala stands. There's no limits on abortion with their campaign. None. Okay, a baby can feel pain at 20 weeks. 20 weeks. You want to talk evil? These people are fine with inflicting pain on a baby in the womb at 20 weeks and beyond to take its life. Now, do I agree with Trump on his stance on abortion and he thinks that 6 weeks is too early? Yeah, I disagree with him. But we're looking at abortion till the point of birth or limiting abortion and giving states the opportunity to decide what they're going to do with it. And this is what I come to. As a Christian, I come back to, this is on me. Like, it's not on the government. It's not on certain laws. It's on me. And I believe that in order to stop abortion, you got to change hearts. You have to reach people's hearts. And the only way to do that is by sharing Jesus and by being a light to the darkness. And I feel like Christians have sloughed off this and put a lot of our responsibility on the government. We've done that with taking care of the poor and needy. If every Christian out there was giving and helping the poor and needy and giving to organizations that were helping the poor and needy, we wouldn't have the issues that we have today. That's just being honest. It's just being honest. And we have to reach these people. We have to say, hey, like, this is life. This is a life. That's a beating heart. And life comes from God. He's the creator of life. And he loves that child inside of the womb. He knew that baby before he formed that baby. It's what Jeremiah 1:5 says. I mean, so that's what we need to be doing, right? And I'm not saying like and getting into those states and having a strong case presented on why we have to limit abortion and eventually get rid of it. And I do believe in helping people out that want to adopt. It does need to be regulated. And that's where I would say the government needs to regulate, because we need to make sure that these children are going to good homes, because that's very important to me. But death is not the option. Killing the baby is not the option. That's not, we shouldn't even think like that. But how do we get to people to get to that place where it's not the option? Like, no, of course we're going to choose life. Of course, this is a baby. This is a life in the womb. I mean, we protect bald eagle eggs, people. You can't destroy a bald eagle egg, but you can destroy a life in the womb and a human being. Like, it's insane to me. So, and I get Trump right now, what he's doing, because he's trying to gauge more of that middle vote, and he's trying to target that suburban housewife mom that's watching The View. And I don't think that that's going to win them over. I mean, these women that are all about, abortion, they're all about abortion. So you have to reach them on a heart level. And that starts with praying for them. That does. It starts with praying. And people are like, oh, no, that is not the last resort. That is the first resort. There's power in prayer, incredible power in prayer. Guys, I have seen it in my own life. God move when I started to pray. I've seen him. He's done stuff for me that I'm like, there's no way this can happen. And God will show up after praying and praying and praying. And he can work on people's hearts, right? He can do the impossible. But but he works through us too, guys. He works through us. So we have to be a light. We have to shine bright. We have to give a voice to the voiceless. But the alternative is no limits. So for the pro-lifers out there that are like, I'm not voting because, so then you're just going all in on full-term abortion. That's what you're doing. And Kamala she is fierce. She went after, I have it here. She went after these pregnancy centers that I spoke of earlier. She would go after those pregnancy centers that encourage mothers not to abort and to have their baby and then either put it up for adoption or they would help with the needs that the mother had with clothing and diapers and formula, all of this stuff that they would help. She went after those people. She hates that. She's rated like 100% or something or close to that by Planned Parenthood. They love Kamala, right? She's bringing them business. But what does it say here? The Reproductive Fact Act, of which Harris says that she's proud of and she co-sponsored as a primary enforcer, compelled pro-life pregnancy centers licensed by the state. This is when she was in California, AG, licensed by the state to display notices about public programs in California, including abortions for eligible for women. So she demanded that these pregnancy centers that were encouraging women not to abort, that they display information about the ability to abort their child in their places of business. Well, it's not really a place of business; it's a nonprofit, but it required that they provide a phone number for the local county social services office so that women could determine whether they were eligible for the government programs which subsidize abortion. When the law went into effect in January of 2016, pregnancy centers were forced to either display notices or face repeated fines for $500 for the first offense and $1,000 for subsequent offenses. This was all pushed by Harris. Okay. In 2016, when Kamala was the AG of California, her offices searched the apartment of David Daleiden, the abortion activist who had the controversial hidden camera videos accusing Planned Parenthood doctors of selling fetal tissue. So she went after this guy. This guy went into Planned Parenthood facilities and he caught on camera Planned Parenthood people talking about selling body parts, baby fetal body parts. And Kamala specifically went after this guy. And this is no surprise. Planned Parenthood's bought, and this is what he said, the David Daleiden, he said, this is no surprise. Planned Parenthood's bought and paid for AG, which is Kamala Harris, had steadfastly refused to enforce the laws against the body parts traffickers in our state. So she did not enforce any laws or did she investigate them. They've also, the Biden-Harris campaign, you guys, have gone after aggressively people that would speak out against abortion outside of abortion clinics. They're charging people with the FACE Act, which just is someone trying to stop someone from getting an abortion. They're charging Americans and actually imprisoning them. It has gotten so bad that Republican members of Congress have taken notice, and Act Chip Roy has been outspoken about these prejudicial attacks. He created a bill to repeal the FACE Act altogether, since it's not been applied equally or fairly since its inception. So they're actually locking up people that are speaking out outside of abortion clinics. Like, these people are rabidly abortion all the way up to the point of birth. So you have that, and then you have Trump, who's very far on the other side of the spectrum and wants to give the decision up to the states. And it's our job as Christians to change hearts, to convince people that it is a life, and why life is important, and why it's so beautiful, and the incredible stories of babies that were going to be aborted, and where they are now, and what they're doing now, and the achievements they've made, and who knows? I mean, who knows who we have aborted? Like, that's what I always think about. Like, what if we have aborted, like, people that would have cured like incurable diseases, but we aborted them? And God sent them. God sent them, and then we took them out. Like, every life is precious. Every life has a meaning and a purpose. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, you only care about life in the womb. No, I care about life outside the womb. I care about the mutilization of children and not mutilating kids. I give to organizations that help mothers that are single, that don't have the needs that they have. Like, I care about every stage of life, all the way through. And if you really start to talk to people that are pro-life, they care about life across the board. So, anyways. All right, you guys. That's what I have to say on that one. I keep getting dinged on Twitter, on X. People are like, well, what do you think about this? That he said this? And I'm like, that's where I stand on it. That's where I stand. So I think the choice is pretty clear, right? And then on top of that, all the other policies that we're also voting for. Being pro-life, yes, a major one, but also preventing World War III, the right to free speech, lower inflation, lower taxes, not mutilating children, women competing in women's sport, there's so many other things that are also the policies that I do care about. And I'm not a single issue voter. I'm not. I'm able to look at the whole of the policies that are presented by one candidate and the whole of the policies presented by that other candidate. And then I'm able to make a logical, common sense conclusion on why I'm voting the way I'm voting. And I hope everybody else out there does the same. So, all right, you guys, you're appreciated. A shout out to my Patreon supporters. Like I said, you guys, the censorship is insane. And it has been hard. And I don't even know why. Like, there's points where, like, I'm like, you continue to do this and you're getting censored, and it's very hard for people to even see your content. You're putting this stuff out. Just do people even see it? And for some reason, I just keep going. And a lot of it has to do with the support of my Patreon supporters. It really does. I'm thankful for them. They encourage me to keep going, and I'm going to keep going until, or if God tells me to stop or another door opens. So, but I am thankful for you guys, and God bless you all. I see some of you on here. Hey, Peggy, I see you're watching. And I'm thankful for you all. I really am. So wishing you a wonderful weekend. This has been a long live. Oh my gosh. I'm at like an hour and 20 minutes. I try to stay at an hour. I used to do just 30 minutes. This is getting nuts. Soon it's going to be like a 3-hour show. Stupid. Okay. All right, you guys, have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, and keep speaking the truth. Don't be intimidated to speak the truth. And this is what I say sometimes, because sometimes they're like, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm with a family member right now, and I don't know what to say, and I don't feel like I have the knowledge to really debate. You know what you can do? You can just simply say, I disagree. I disagree. I see it differently. And that encourages everybody else in that room to also disagree with that loud mouth in the room. That's abrasive. That's, oh my gosh, Trump is a horrible human. We hate him. I disagree. And usually that person that's saying that, they couldn't debate you. They couldn't argue with you. They don't know why they think the way they think. They're programmed. So don't be intimidated. Don't be bashful. Be bold enough to at least say, hey, I disagree. I see it differently. And I don't want to get in a debate with you, but I see it differently and I think differently. And that encourages everybody else to be like, oh, okay. Because if you don't speak up, they're going to think that you agree with that loudmouth. And you can't have that. Okay. You can't have that. So anyways, all right. I need to stop. We'll talk soon. Have a good weekend, you guys. Bye.